What did one chemist say to the other chemist about his helium joke? Hee hee. Greetings, creatures of Earth, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex, for those of you that do not know, and this is the Hippie Venture. It is May, which means it is almost summertime, which means it is graduation season. Yay! And congratulations to all of those out there that are graduating this season, whether it's from high school or college or grad school, or maybe you're just simply promoting from middle school to high school. I know that was a big deal when I was in 8th grade, so congrats, you did it. That's amazing. But for everyone out there participating in graduation season, I have a little favor to ask you. A couple weeks ago I posted a video about a non-renewable resource. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called gasoline. And all of the things that Californians are going through right now with the gas prices and supply and demand and all that fun economic stuff. This video, I wanted to talk about another type of gas, and this is also a non-renewable resource, but you don't hear about this one as much. And honestly, I had heard about this a while back, maybe about 6 months ago, and it kind of just like got swept under the rug. You know, my life got busy, I forgot, so no one's perfect, right? Until I saw this sign hanging outside of the dollar store. Due to vendor supply issues, we are temporarily out of helium. Helium? You're out of helium? So you mean that all of those balloon bouquets and stuff like that that people are going to be getting for graduation are just not going to be a thing this year? Well, as it turns out, yes, this will start to become a problem slowly but surely every year. And the reason being is that Earth is actually running out of helium. Can you believe that? Like, one of the most abundant elements on Earth, in fact, the second most abundant in the universe, is helium. How can we be running out? Well, the simple answer is that we are using it faster than it can be produced. Okay, well, how do you make helium? Well, that's a complicated process. It takes a really, really long time, and it has something to do with radioactive decay. Radioactive what? Radioactive decay is basically a fancy way of saying things are breaking down and turning into other things. So, for example, uranium is a very common element to undergo radioactive decay, and that's because it has a very, very high mass. So it's a very heavy element. And it takes a really, really long time for it to decay, and usually what its byproduct is an alpha particle, which is basically helium. I mean, it's got to steal a couple electrons, but it's helium. So something like uranium, which is a very, very heavy element, turns into lead at some point. In fact, uranium's half-life is when that uranium turns into lead. And that takes 4.5 billion years. Let that sink in for a second. 4.5 billion years is the age of the planet. Well, according to most scientists. I'm sorry if you believe that it's another age. I'm not going to start that fight. So, you're saying that the uranium that was put on this planet when it formed is just now turning into lead? Yeah, basically. And over time, it's emitted certain alpha particles, which are basically helium molecules once they steal an electron or two. So that's where we get our helium. And you might be thinking, but doesn't helium exist in the atmosphere? Like, naturally? Yeah, it totally does. 5 parts per million. Which, let me break that down for you. If 20% of 100 is 20, then 5 parts per million is 5% of a million. Does that make sense? So in other words, it's 0.0005% of our atmosphere that's helium. That's not a lot. And in order to mine it, or I guess harvest it from the air, we would need a lot of technology that's way too expensive for it to be worth it. Not to mention, most of the helium is lost to space anyway, because when you think about it, when you let a balloon go, where does it go? And a few of you smarties have to be thinking, but doesn't the sun give off helium? Actually, yeah, you're right. The sun's made up of 25% helium, and it constantly spits it toward us. They're called solar flares. However, they don't often reach Earth, and we don't want them to. And the little bits that do are actually stopped by something that, you might have heard of. It's actually really helpful. It's called, our atmosphere. Yeah, that's the thing that protects us from all the stuff in space, like the radiation, the UV, all of that junk. So yeah, it comes from the sun, but good luck harnessing that. So the next question would probably be, well, how can we replicate how the sun makes it? That's a really good question. Yeah, we could totally do that. We'll just smash some hydrogen molecules together at 180 million degrees Fahrenheit, and then boom, we'll have helium. Good idea. And actually, that's called nuclear fusion, and if you figure that out, please let us know, because scientists have been trying to figure that out for a long time. So what's the big deal anyway? Why do we need helium? So we won't have party balloons. Big deal. Well, actually, helium's used for a lot more than that. It's used in a lot of medical technology, like in MRI machines. It's used for welding and for deep diving. It's used to pressurize tanks. It's used in supersonic wind tunnels and in weather balloons for scientific studies, to study climate and how it's changing, for all of you out there that don't believe in it. And of course, who could forget blimps? Because, the Goodyear blimp, it would be a shame if they had to decommission that. But liquid helium is also used to study superconductivity and particle accelerators. So that nuclear fusion that I was talking about, yeah, that's as close as we get to that. So what's my point here? What's the favor I'm asking for? Well, if you're participating in graduation season this year, just try to inform your loved ones that there is a helium shortage on our planet. And yeah, they say that every 4 to 5 years we go through this cycle where helium seems to run out and then we find another pocket somewhere. But I have to tell you, it's extremely likely that by the time I have kids or my kids have kids, party balloons will be a thing of the past. No one will even know that that was a cultural thing. I mean, think how weird that concept is. You're filling this little ball of latex with gas, and then it just sits there? So if you're participating in graduation season this year, look at some other alternatives. How about flowers? Or, cash is always good, especially for those college students, am I right? Help me, I'm in so much debt. There are innumerable other creative gifts that could be given instead of a bouquet of balloons. And honestly, I don't know about other people's graduation ceremonies, but I remember at my high school graduation, I counted at least 27, if I'm remembering correct, 27 bouquets of balloons that flew away in the middle of the ceremony that their grads didn't even get to see. So rather than having your loved ones buy you a random ball of gas that floats around your room for a couple weeks, or worse, it's accidentally released during the ceremony and you don't even get to see it, plus it becomes a potential environmental hazard for something else down the line. Remember, what goes up must come down. Just forego the balloons this year. It's bad for the environment and we need the helium for other things. More important things than balloon bouquets. Well, everyone, that is all that I have for you this time. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and let me know if it was helpful, maybe thought-provoking. Share it with a friend, someone you know that's graduating, and please subscribe to my channel because I put out videos whenever. Subscribe to my channel, become a hippie yourself, and until next time, remember, nothing ventured, nothing gained.